Alvarez, and my short film is Soul. I wanted to make Soul because it's not like every sci-fi you've seen before. In fact, it's the opposite of that, and it's a story about a mother and a daughter. We associate sci-fi with being like anamorphic, big, wide screen, and very like cinematic, but I wanted to do a little bit of the opposite. I wanted this film to feel raw and genuine, and it's more to give like a grim but realistic aspect of what it could look like in the future and what our parenting style might have to be like and how that will affect a future generation. I, as a filmmaker, feel like I have the ability to choose and promote diversity in the films that I make. If I hadn't pushed for that diversity, if I hadn't pushed for the women roles, and if I hadn't pushed for the specific look that I wanted, I wouldn't have been able to work with Rukia and Arya, and it was something that I definitely wanted from this experience.
My name is Malibu Taetz, and I'm the writer and director of The Substitute. I wanted to tell a story about one of those kinds of people who's so passionate about doing these little things that really benefit our world, but who don't get the credit for it, but to tell it like it's a grand adventure film.
Wow! Come on, groove it over.
I've pitched twice. This was my second pitch, and it worked. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Such a great experience for me, who's just sort of I've been doing it for about 4 years, but that's it. And I thought going into it that as a director, my job was to talk, was to speak, was to convince. But I learned that my job is to listen and to observe and to see. Stories don't have to be depressing to be meaningful, and you can tell a really heartfelt and honest and true story, and it doesn't have to be sad. I want people to remember me as someone who made things that gave people hope, and to show that there's beauty in ordinary world, and there's the beauty in every human encounter.
My name is Brodi-Jo Scalisse, and my film is Itsy Bitsy Spider.
I forgot my pistol. I don't have my gun when I...
My story resonates from a place of real human emotion and feelings, but under the guise of genre. I love being scared, and I love when there's more of a message underneath the scare, or drawing interesting stories and have different horror elements within that are genuine and are able to communicate the psyche of being human. Part of my story involves the use of tarantulas and spiders. I'm terrified of spiders. I have a bit of arachnophobia, so my bluff was called a little bit when I was chosen for this. It was important for me to have two gay men in my film, as a gay man myself, but I didn't come from it wanting to have a gay agenda behind everything. It was basically a couple that were struggling to communicate honestly with each other, and their struggle to communicate is where the horror elements came into play. And I think that struggle to communicate with your loved one is something that's more universal and not an issue that's specific to a certain type of sexuality.
My name is Bruna, Arbex, and the name of my film is This is a Period Piece. I wanted to make this film because when I got my period for the first time, I remember how terrified I was. So I think when we produce content like this, it can help little girls out there maybe understand that it's perfectly normal to go through that. I wanted to do a surreal approach because that's, first of all, my style as director. It's really hard to represent on a short film span all those years of womanhood. So for me, the surreal would help me emphasize and show all those fears we go through years and years of our lives in one night, technically. So I think it's about time that people face period blood. Mainly, it has been a taboo for such a long time, and I think it's a very original approach, and I don't think people can possibly expect what's gonna happen if they weren't on set.
My name is Liebert, and I am the writer and director of The Quieting. When I thought about what I wanted my first short to be, this story came to me in dreams and in writing and journals, and it wasn't a surprise to anyone that this story is basically my story. Me 5 years ago, grappling with coming out, and it was very meta. We shot in my personal apartment, and we used a lot of the props and everything are like my stuff, and I think the process of actually writing the script was a relief to me. I wanted to explore what it would look like to have a representation of anxiety and fear and the voices that keep you from being who you are or stopping you. And I'm hoping that it reaches people not just in the queer community.
Let's go. Hey, my name is Josh Aries.
I'm Daniel Irving.
And our film is called Mr. James is Dead.
But every stage of the process, when we were pitching this film, we thought there's no way they're gonna greenlight it. We wanted to do stunts, we wanted to do fighting, we wanted to do dancing.
Yeah.
And then they called our names.
Action comedy is such a fun and crazy genre to pull off.
Our relationship has been Josh focusing on the action and the dance, and me focusing on more of the dialogue moments. So we had a really good relationship in terms of focusing on different scenes. It's not often that you go to the movies and you see dance, music, action, and true personality between two individuals on a deep level, all combined into one.
This whole film, Mr. James is Dead, has been a crazy wild ride, and I want every single film I make from here on forth to be just the same as that or even better, because we had so much fun making it.
I consider myself as someone who's a rule breaker for sure.
I think I'm constantly putting myself on the line of, or people are gonna love it or people are gonna hate it.
The boxes, get out. Get out.
Make films that inspire people that there is goodness in the world.
And we can't forget, we have to be the eyes to watch those.
Every person has this gift. Everyone has a talent that's kind of hidden deep inside them, right? And it's really up to you to really figure out what that is and use that to find that happiness.
Make films that make you happy. Make films that you wished you'd seen when you were younger. But most of all, make films consciously knowing that you are influencing a future generation.
Got it. Bam! Thanks, guys.